right, Fantasy Creature Project number 7. We're going to change the skin color using a hue saturation layer, and we're going to add it to the top of the Me layer group. So this is going to go inside the Me layer group. And if we add it right now, so be clicked on your top layer, add a hue saturation layer. If you start dragging, it's going to change everything, including the background. Now we do want it to change our person. So all the things that are inside of our person's layer, we do want it to change those. So what we need to do, because we can't clipping mask to every single one of these, is we're going to change that layer group folder instead of pass through to normal. So now anything that we do on this hue saturation will only affect items in that layer group. Now, the other thing is, we don't want every single part of us to have that layer color. Like, for instance, my shirt's changing colors, that kind of thing. So because of that, it would probably be easiest to start off with nothing and paint it where we need it. So remember, put black on bottom, click on your layer mask, and control backspace. That's gonna, oops. I said control backspace, maybe not. Well, we need to fill this layer mask in with black instead of white. We'll just press Control I and invert it. Okay, so I'm right here. I have a black layer mask, but now whenever I paint, it's going to paint in that saturation color. Now, you'll want to have a soft brush probably, and then start painting. And we don't want to paint your eyes, so don't, try to avoid your eyes. Now, if you get outside of areas, it's not going to matter a whole lot because there's nothing else on this layer other than your person and the parts that go with the person. So if you get outside the lines a little bit, it won't matter a whole lot. All right, so let's say that's what I want to do. Don't want to do your hair because your hair, I mean, you could do your hair, but I would do it a different color. And then down here on the arms, however. All right, and remember, we can also modify the blend mode of the hue saturation layer. So you could hit it with hard light, which is going to make the color different, or vivid light, which is going to do that. So you've got different options here that you can mess with regards to your blend modes. If we go screen, then everything goes a little bit lighter. Color dodge kind of has an interesting effect. So like if I'm making myself look more like a vampire, I'm probably going to want to go with one of these screen modes so that everything is lighter, because that's going to be more vampire-like, right? Let's click on here, and I'll continue to mess with these colors. I want my person to be a little bit green. I'm going to add more saturation. Oh, that's yellow. Add more saturation so that the color will go up. The problem is we can't get to some of these. Oh, okay, there we go. There's green. Now not so much saturation. There we go. All right. Now, you got to be careful here because we start to mess with the lightness too much, then the blend mode kind of kicks out. All right, I think that's okay. Again, don't get your lips in there. You don't want your lips to have that color, just like we didn't want our lips to have that texture. And you may need to go touch up, like I'm obviously seeing some areas on my layer masks that need to be fixed. So at any point in time, of course, come back to your main layer and paint out anything that seems messed up, paying attention to using the right kind of brush, because if I'm trying to get rid of stuff that doesn't belong, if it's on the edge of something, then I need to use a hard brush like this on this one. All right. So anyway, just continue the touch-up process. If there's anything else you want to change the colors of, you can do that now as well. I would pre-select those areas. So for instance, if you wanted to change the colors of your lips, I would pre-select your lips from way down here where your Me layer is. So I'll take just a plain lasso here, for example, and I'm gonna zoom up close. Actually, probably should just use the selection brush, but all right. So I'm just gonna lasso around my lips. Remember, I can touch this up later, so it's okay if it's not perfect. Oh, so if it's not perfect. All right, so there's that. And then we're going to put in a hue saturation down here. Now it's going to mess with the other hue saturation, which is why I did it after the fact, so that things don't keep changing on us, okay? So here I am down here. Oops, wrong button. I'm going to click my hue saturation one. And then if I wanted to further saturate these lips or change the color of the lips, let's say I wanted them to be kind of a blue color or whatever like that, then I could go ahead and make these changes here. And again, I can mess with my blend mode if I want to get different looks as well. So you just have to kind of play with it until you get what you want, or maybe you don't want to change that, and you can put it back to normal and just deal with it as a normal blend. All right, so let's pull that back, opacity a little bit here, and then of course I would probably touch this up a little bit because it needs to be go out there to the edges a little bit. Oh no, this one doesn't look all that great. Maybe it'll look better when I'm zoomed out to 100. Well, that's okay at 100%. So anyway, so decide how you want to do that. Do your skin color at a minimum, and if you want to, you can change the color of something else. In the next step, we'll deal with the eyes, so don't mess with those.